cry.
That's okay.
Yeah. My name is Dr. Christy Morgan, and I am the Arizona Director for Candle Wishes in Phoenix, Arizona.
My name is Jenny Williams. I'm the founder and executive director of the Candle Wishes Foundation. I just really felt this burden come over me for these kids.
Children mean a lot. You never want a child to grow up feeling like they're not loved.
God put this on my heart to want to give these children happy birthdays.
This foundation just touched my heart, so I knew that this was something that I needed to do.
Okay, y'all, I'm not gonna ugly cry. This is terrible.
There was a time in our life where we struggled. There was a time in our life where we lived paycheck to paycheck. One time when we first moved down to Phoenix, a friend of ours, even at Christmas time, paid for my son to have a picture. Paid to have a picture of our son sitting on Santa's lap, and I couldn't afford it because we had just moved across the country. And so that's always stuck with me. If you would love to sponsor a child, if you would like to throw a birthday party, if you would like to just volunteer,
we need your help. Reach out to us so that we can connect and make our community a better place.
Good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I am Ken Walls and I'm your host, and I am excited to finally be on here. We're 20 minutes late. That is my fault. I was in a meeting and then we ran into some tech difficulties. But hey, that's all right. It's Facebook Live, and so listen. First off, I want to plug the Candle Wishes Foundation and tell you, go follow that with Dr. Christy Morgan. It's a phenomenal organization where they help children that are underprivileged have birthday parties. So I want to go ahead and welcome a very special guest to the show. Her name is Andrea Lavigne. Andrea, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you so much for having me. I'm having this right now. I usually don't have stage fright.
You're nervous?
Oh, my goodness. The excitement's building up. So now you're here finally. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my honor, my pleasure. We have a lot of people on here already, and no need to be nervous. There's only like 5 million people that'll see this on the TV network, so
no pressure at all.
No pressure.
None
So listen, I created this show because I genuinely feel like, look, we all know people that get stuck in life. We've been, I know I've been stuck in life, and I truly, I know that we get unstuck, we gain momentum, we gain strength and wisdom by hearing other people's stories of being knocked down and getting back up. And so I don't know a lot about you. I know that we're both mutually friends with Gisela Rose, and yes. I love Giselle, and she's been on the show, as a matter of fact.
She's amazing. Yes, I saw the interview. Yeah. She's a rock star. I'm very, very happy to call her my girlfriend. Absolutely.
She's amazing. Yes. And so now you're coming in from Canada, right?
Yes, I live just at the east side of Toronto. I have lived in Canada actually since 1991. I'm Hungarian. I was born and raised in Budapest. Wow. And as I heard, somebody knows a Hungarian.
My wife is half Hungarian. Her father was 100%, and his parents, I believe it was, were immigrants from Hungary to here. So it's one of her dreams for us to travel and go to Budapest. So that's on our to-do list for sure. So
Budapest is beautiful. Everybody who travels there, they have an amazing experience. Definitely.
Yeah.
So yes, I was born and raised there.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about that. What was it? What was it like for you growing up? I mean, you were born in Budapest, and Canada is what, like it's kind of like the hat for America. I'm kidding. Like it's really, there's not a lot of like, there's not
geographically maybe on the map.
Right. But there's not a lot of cultural differences between Canada and the U.S. I mean, you know, we all have McDonald's and I'm kidding, but
you have that in Hungary as well now.
Yeah, right. But so tell us what it was like growing up in Budapest.
When I was born, I don't even know. I don't even want to say when I was born. I was born in the 60s, though.
Yeah.
I grew up in the communist era.
Oh.
And I went to school while it was still the communist era. I finished my universities when the communist regime got knocked out, basically. And one of the, there was a lot of good things about growing up in a communist society, because it really got people to work together, to keep together, to help each other. But it had a lot of disadvantages. And one of the big disadvantages was that if you wanted to stand out there, you had to be very strong, and you had to not show vulnerability. You could not show that you're weak, because that you would be pushed aside. Nobody wanted a leader in a society where you needed direction, because nobody knew which end was up, really. It wasn't an established system. It was just something that was put on Hungary. But I don't want to go into the economics and the political situation. It was just from an emotional standpoint. If you wanted to get ahead, and if you wanted to be a leader, you had to put up this rhino front,
right,
and you had to be an extremely strong person, loud, and show yourself as a strong leader. So you cannot be vulnerable. You could not show that you have a weak spot. You could not show how you overcame an obstacle.
So that's where my wife gets all of that hard-headedness.
It's in our blood. It's in our DNA, I have to say.
She's on the Facebook live stream right now. So
hi, how are you?
so I can just blame her lineage for it. So no, she's a very strong woman, and she's very, very strong, and so it sounds like that definitely comes from being in the blood, so to speak.
Yeah, but it has the advantage that it's very easy to overcome life's obstacles. I mean, I had to rebuild my life 3 times. Now, who does that? But have I been able to talk about it up until now? No, because it wasn't in me. It wasn't imprinted in me that I can share the obstacles that I overcame. And it was a very humbling experience the very first time when I started talking about what I locked up inside for such a long time. And that was the point when I realized that, yeah, other people went through the same thing that I did. Right? Other people moved continents at a young age. Other people went through divorces. Other people had to rebuild their businesses a couple of times and start from scratch. Or other people had huge expenses put on them that they had to deal with, right? So,
yeah. Let me ask you, like, so you were born in Hungary, you were raised there,
yes.
Until what age? When did you leave Hungary?
I left Hungary when I was 26.
Okay. So you went to school there your entire life?
Yes.
And
exactly.
What was it like being a kid there in a communist regime, as you said, in a communist country?
I have to say the education system is top-notch. It's probably one of the highest standards, or it was. I can't talk about it for now, but way back when, it was a very high standard education system, and it was free. And we had fun. We had free camps to go to. We had a lot of activities. So it was fun to be a kid. We were not allowed to travel.
Mm.
That was a limitation, that we were able to go to other communist countries once a year. We had a special passport for that. and we were allowed to go to capitalist countries, even over to Vienna, which was like Austria, which was only a 3-hour drive. We were only able to go once every 3 years.
Wow.
So the intrigue of, oh my God, what it's like to be in a capitalist country and having better clothes and, all the bling, bling, bling from the other side of the border, it was always very interesting for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
But growing up as a kid, it was fun, I have to say. And I'm happy that I grew up there.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you I keep thinking you came to America, but you didn't. You came to Canada.
Yes.
Was that at 26 years old?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me ask this though. Like in Hungary, so you you graduate, I guess, high school, right? And then did you go to college?
Yes. I finished 3 years of university.
Okay.
Well, I guess you can call it college. College, university. We had no differentiation. It was a 3-year university or economic universities were 4 years, doctor universities were 5 years, but they were all the same. It was just a length of time that particular kind of university took.
Okay. So you went to university, and I assume you were 20, 21, somewhere in there when you
No, actually, after high school, I did not get accepted. So I was working for a year. I worked for a travel agency for a year, and then I got accepted to what's it called in English? Probably the best translation would be hotel management and hotel and restaurant management something like that. Yeah.
So you worked for a travel agency in a country where you're not allowed to travel.
Exactly.
Wow, that has got to make it a little more difficult to do your job.
But don't forget, people traveled inside the country, right?
Right.
So travel agencies were still offering trips for people who were able to go once every 3 years.
Right.
Now, all the companies, all these travel agencies and all the companies were all government owned, right? So there was no private sector at that time yet. It was just starting to emerge because people started to realize that political systems are the same. It doesn't matter whether it's communist or not. People are going to embezzle money. So they started to notice that, okay, if the politicians have money, then there is a way to make money here as well. But you know what? I grew up with the mentality that actually this is what my parents embedded in me, that money is not good. So it was very hard to see that people who they had a better car, actually they had a car, not a better car, but they had a car, or they were able to travel every 3 years because it cost a lot of money. They had a stigma put on them that they embezzled money from somewhere. So it never was like, oh, those are entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So it was very hard to overcome that image in our brain when you come across somebody who really works their butt off to make some extra money to better their life in a communist situation where you really have nothing.
Wow. So at some point though, you said at 26 is when you left Hungary.
Yes, I was 26 or 27.
Okay.
But before that, if we backtrack, when in 86, the communist regime, 86 or 87, the communist regime was overturned. And we were in this nowhere's land, no real political party had any kind of vision of where we are going. It was just like, hey, la-di-da, we are out of the communist system, right?
Yeah.
So that was the time when people were able to travel, and there were not a lot of opportunities at that time for work in Hungary. So I found an ad in an Austrian paper in German that said "Fun in the Sun." And I'm like, oh, that's great. Let's check it out. So I went for
it. It said what?
Fun in that sun.
Oh, okay.
So I said, okay, let's check it out. So I went for an interview, and it was actually a timeshare company that were recruiting reps for their resort on Gran Canaria, the Canary Islands.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And I went there for almost 2 years, and I was selling timeshare before I came to Canada. So when I came to Canada, everybody said, are you out of your mind coming from a hot country to cold weather in Canada? And I'm like, yeah, Canada was always my dream.
Wow.
So,
Canada was always your dream.
Yes.
Really?
I was probably around 12 years old and I told everybody that I'm going to live in Canada.
Really? That's interesting. Yeah. Why?
Okay,
the maple leaf?
No. No, it was, I don't know. I could go back to I think in my previous life I was a native Indian, but then it would sound like I'm crazy. Not a lot of people believe me. But yeah, actually,
wow.
I don't know why. And it wasn't never a United States. It was always, I had this vision that I'm going to live in Canada.
I love it. Because, being from the U.S., you hear everybody say the American dream. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say the Canadian dream. No offense to Canada at all.
Yeah, no, you know what? The image of Canada for most of the Americans is that we live in igloos here. And very cold. We have some really long winters, which is very depressing. So, but other than that, it's very multicultural here. Yeah. So people are very friendly. But it reminds me very much to a socialist system.
You're in Toronto. I don't think that's very far from Ohio.
No, it's not. So,
like right across the lake or something, isn't it?
Yeah, So we get the same lake effect.
What's that?
We get the same lake effect.
Yeah. My wife grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania, so like literally on the lake. So yeah.
So she would know.
Yeah. And I always tell her she's got a Canadian accent, and she's like, "Stop it, I do not." So.
What is a Canadian accent?
What?
What is a Canadian accent?
It's something different from Ohio.
Anything in Canada is different. Anything in Canada. I don't think that you can find two similar accents or two people who speak the same accent.
Right. So there's a lot of Canadians on here right now, as a matter of fact. They're all talking on the live stream. That's so funny. There's some, Robert Brooker says, A. Yeah, like A. I'm from Canada, eh?
But you know what? I have not heard that in a long time. So Canadians are improving. I have to say.
I love it. So at 26, you're in the Canary Islands selling timeshares for how long?
2 years. Actually, I was 24 or 25 when I went there. So it was 26 or 27 when I moved in 91. Yeah.
So you moved to Canada.
Yes.
Did you move by yourself, or did you bring your parents, or?
No. Actually, I met someone who was born here, so we got married. Oh. So I came here legally.
Okay.
I came here legally, and I had my challenges, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm an entrepreneur today. Is because it doesn't matter what kind of education you bring with yourself. When you don't have Canadian experience, there's no way that you would get a decent job. And my first slap in the face was when I applied for a job at the Holiday Inn, which is just a motel in Hungary. Or at that time, it was just a motel system in Europe. It wasn't anything fancy.
Right.
And I used to work in like Hyatt's and Hilton's and... So that's where my experience came from. And when a Holiday Inn said you don't have Canadian experience and that's why you can't get a job here, I was heartbroken. I'm not kidding you. I cried for 2 days from the rejection. The rejection.
Wow.
It was hard to overcome. That was something that I will never forget. Now I laugh at it, but...
Yeah. That you couldn't get a job at the Holiday Inn.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
But
That's like it's not like you were turned down to have a stock brokerage position on Wall Street. It was the Holiday Inn.
It was the Holiday Inn, yeah.
And you cried
but
for 2 days.
you know what? That's
funny.
where my timeshare experience came very handy, because a friend of mine was actually working at a resort here in Canada, here in Blue Mountains, and they had an offsite office here in Toronto, and he said, you know what, why don't you come and work for us?
Wow.
So I was in timeshare for the good majority of the 90s, and then I worked for the timeshare exchange company. So that was more like, in the office, exchanging people's vacations. Mm-hmm. And then I had enough of the corporate world. I was never a 9-to-5 person, and that was really 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
It was actually, sometimes it was from 6 to 3, and then it was from 12 to 9, and the weekends, and it did not sit well with me. I've never liked this confined limitations that it put on me. It was fun. I loved working with the people who were working there. It was a great environment, but I never appreciated not being free and being my own. I decide when I want to do and what I want to do.
Right. So it was at the, and how old were you then? So you'd been in Canada, for sorry, I have to.
From 91, I left the corporate world in 2002.
Okay.
And that's when I started designing. I started my own design business.
Designing what?
At that time I was designing closet organizers is what I started with. So anything from a closet organizer to home offices, wall units, fireplace units, libraries.
Wow.
I had a really good sense of space, so it came natural. And that was actually, I was working for a company as well. That time it was an American company that had a Canadian office, and they were the ones building these units.
And like closet organizer things?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, they was called Closet Factory.
Okay.
Very bad name, but it was very high end, much better quality and better structure than California closets.
Yeah.
They have the name, we had the quality. So, but the company decided to shut down the Canadian operation. Don't know why. And then I decided to go into like more kitchens. So then I was doing kitchens. Wow. So I incorporated basically everything into interior design, except I wasn't doing the curtains. I wasn't doing anything, furniture shopping or anything like that. I didn't do any structural work. I was more into cabinets.
Well, you can see from my background that I'm really into it as well. No, I'm just kidding. But like, so here you are, you go from timeshare stuff into organizing people's closets and now kitchens. Now, are you is this your own bit? But I mean, are you like a subcontractor or are you an employee?
Yes, it was like Yes, it was like I was self-employed basically.
Okay, that's what I was curious about.
And the kitchen company and the company who was building the cabinets, they were basically building what I designed.
Right.
I had to sell everything, so I had to sell it and design it.
Got it.
So timeshare sales actually comes really handy in every walk of life.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they teach you how to sell for sure, how to talk to people.
A quick timeshare story. I was in the Caribbean on a cruise, and we stopped at what was the island? St. Martin, and they were offering a bunch of free T-shirts if you came and listened to this pitch, and I had never listened to one, and I'm like, sure, why not? And get a bunch of free shirts, and this guy, like, he asked for my driver's license at some point, and he would not give it back. I kept saying, dude, I'm not buying. Like, give me my license. And they came to, it was crazy. So, like, I said, give me my license back. And he goes, oh, I'll get it here in a minute. And he kept trying to close me. And I was like, it almost turned into a fight. Like, I was like, dude, go get my driver's license now. Like, seriously, things are going to start getting broken around here. Like, it was the most insane and intense sales pitch I've ever been in. Ever.
Yeah, it is intense, but I don't think that I ever had to choke anybody to stay at the table. Yeah. No.
That's funny. You never had to choke anyone. So, like, you know, but I know that timeshare sales is like, you've got to be very, very skilled.
It's very high pressure.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have to say, if somebody is any kind of sales position or sales environment, you cannot use all those skills that they teach you in timeshare sales, because people will run away. Right. So nobody, like when you are in a sales position, people have the choice to go away. But in the timeshare resorts, usually people take you there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
in order for you to leave, you would either have to haul a cab or get some sort of a transportation to go away. So you kind of, you're stuck. You have to stay there until the very end.
Yeah.
So they can pull out all the stunts and all the hard pressure sales that they want, because they know that you're at their mercy.
Yeah. Well, and I've been at the Disney resorts in Orlando with my wife, and they were not high pressure, which surprised me. Maybe I warned them up front that I would, get violent. I'm kidding. I'm like, no, they were very like, whatever. Yeah, here's the deal. And if you want it, let us know. There's only a X amount and whatever. So, so you took all of this sales experience, you went into the organization business for closets, and then into kitchens, and it sounds like you must have done well.
Yeah, I did. I had a really, really good business, and I would still probably be doing it had I not started a family.
Right.
Because when I had my first daughter, I decided to be a stay-at-home mom.
Right. Right.
Little did I know that once you're an entrepreneur, you will always be an entrepreneur. So
right.
After my second daughter was born, I started to go stir crazy at home.
Yeah.
And it was, you're going to laugh, but unfortunately, even my vocabulary went down to the level of bubble guppies. So if people have kids, you know what bubble guppies are, right?
Yep.
So I was at home 24/7.
Yep.
I don't have family here. Because of the distances, friends are not here. They work. They don't come by very often. So all I had the conversations with is with my children, the two babies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So after like 3 years or 4 years, it got to the point that I could not have a decent conversation with an adult.
Right.
And it was very humbling. I said, okay, this is crazy. I just have to. I have to change. I have to start doing self-development, and I have to learn, and I have to start talking to people. I have to go out and start networking again.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, and that's when I realized that with all this self-development and learning new things and finding Cedric Harris and finding his How to Sell Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere series, he taught me that there was different types of personalities, which in timeshare they don't teach you, right? They're just like, it's a person, and this is what you have to say, and you have to push until they break, right? But nowadays, you have to learn to different people in a different way in order to make sure that, first of all, you find out what they want, because if you don't know what they need, it doesn't matter what you have, you're not going to sell them.
That's right. That's
right.
So,
I folded my business, and when I started again, I was thinking, how long is it going to take me to get back to the financial status that I was when I folded my interior design business? And after the calculations, I thought 5 years. 5 years of hard work. And what happens if I stop the business again?
Right.
income. And I'm thinking, okay, what else can I do for 5 years that is going to give me residual income after I stop working? And I looked at insurance, and I looked at all kinds of investments. But because I was in the networking mind frame, I thought it has to be network marketing. So I was always around network marketing with different companies, but nobody really taught me that there is a compensation plan.
Well, and I want to talk a little bit about that because, I've been my very first sales position was when I was 17 years old. I was selling water purification systems for an Amway distributor that hired me. So I've been around it my entire life for the most part, right? And of course I knew people growing up. I saw my mom's friends that sold Tupperware and the different, Mary Kay and the Avon and all these different things. And so those are, because there are people on this planet still that think, matter of fact, I saw some guy post something on Facebook the other day that said, is there a software that will literally go through Facebook and block every network marketer? And I went,
oh, really?
I know. And I went, well, here, dude. Yeah, you just did it. I blocked him. Because I'm like, first off, like, don't hate on what people choose as their profession, number one. And number two, like, if you don't think that if you have a job or you're the CEO of a company, you're in network marketing. Like, you may be at the top of the food chain as the CEO, but still you have customers and clients that you answer to no matter where you are, right?
Yes.
So I think people just they have this weird misconception about network marketing and they're wrong.
What I find is that a lot of people hate on things that they don't know anything about.
Exactly.
And the worst thing is that they're not even open to learn about it. It could be their choice. It could be that it's really not for them, but how can they really make a judgment call on something that they don't know the details of?
Exactly.
They don't know if they're making the right decision or the wrong decision because they don't have all the details.
Right.
So, unfortunately, it has a bad bad image, or it had a bad image, because I'm now meeting a lot more people who are more open-minded, at least to listen, even if they decide that this is not for them, right?
Yep.
It's the same thing with the cars, right? Some people like the Honda, some people like the Mercedes.
Yep.
So there's no right or wrong thing. Not everybody is a customer. Not everybody is going to be your team member.
Right.
But if you are not open-minded, you don't know what's out there.
Yeah. And I think that, there's been many people that have, joined a network marketing business. I'm one of them. I'm sure you are, where, you get all excited about the product and the opportunity to help people and make money. And so they get in and they quickly, find out that it's a whole lot of work, and it is. It's
yes.
You own your own business. Like, it's a lot of work, and there is no shortcut to success. Like, it doesn't just like, hey, I signed up for this magic thing, and all of a sudden your life is you're rolling in money. That's not the way it works.
No, absolutely not. And unfortunately, there's a lot of hype of getting people into, because most of the network marketing companies are very strong on recruiting. Otherwise, people are not making money.
Right.
So it's constantly recruit.
Right.
And unless you find somebody who is like, okay, I want to join you, most people are doing this hype presentation, and they paint this beautiful image that people are going to get rich in 2 months.
Right.
And with that work, that's not true. So again, it's some of our fault as well that we are not educating people properly.
Right.
So when people are, I always when I have these discussions with people, I always say that it's not just the product, it's not just the compensation plan, but choose your upline well as well. Because if you don't get the support, the guidelines, the how-to, the even word for word scriptage of how to say things, what to say, right?
Yep.
And how to invite people, and you don't learn that, you will never be successful. It doesn't matter what the product is.
And I'm going to make a point that, you know, it's no different than if you go get a job working for a company. Andrea, you were just telling a story a few minutes ago about how you worked for a company that shut down their Canadian operations and you were out of a job. So it all, like, if you're in a network marketing business, or you've ever been in a network marketing business that didn't work out, and all of a sudden now you feel like everything that has anything to do with network marketing is blah, blah, blah and bad. Well, that's insane. That's like saying I was trying to learn how to walk when I was a baby and I fell down. And so, like, I never tried that again. That's dumb. That's just like, that's not real. That's not life.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also like if somebody goes and gets a job fresh out of university or fresh out of college or high school, and they take that job, there's a 3 months trial period when they teach you how to do that job.
Yes.
Right? If you're not putting in the effort, well, after the 3 months trial period, you're out the door.
Yep.
With network marketing, you're not out the door. The opportunity is there for you to work at your own pace.
Yep.
Nobody's rushing you, right?
Right.
But the tools are there with the right company, obviously, and with the right team. Nobody is left out to dry. Nobody is kicked out. Nobody is, okay, now you like, if you don't do this, then you're out of a job.
Right.
If you don't do this, you don't make money. But if you do it well, if you make this as a skill, as a second nature, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the opportunity with network marketing for people who have no background whatsoever in any kind of sales is still the same. This is something that anybody can learn. Is this for everybody? Definitely not. Because if you don't want to work your butt off, this is definitely not the business for you.
Right.
It's not something that you're going to hire people that will do the work for you. You have to put in the work.
Well, and it's again, I think that, and you can disagree with me if you think I'm wrong, but I think that there are so many people in life that are looking for the easier, softer way to get to all of their dreams coming true. Like that, you know, can be involved in anything and not have to put in the work is ridiculous. Like you have to put, like you don't get guns, like you don't get without doing the push-ups. Nobody's going to do your push-ups for you.
Absolutely.
You don't get that. Like you have to do the work. And so,
but unfortunately, well, sorry to interrupt, but
no, go ahead.
We live in an instant gratification society.
Yes, we do.
We want everything like right away. Like
right
look
now.
at the weight loss programs. There are so many weight loss programs that are out there.
Yeah.
And people jump on it, and then 2 weeks later they say, "Sorry, it didn't work for me."
Right.
I mean, all you can do is really laugh, right?
Yeah.
You didn't put on that weight overnight or in 2 weeks, so why do you expect it to, you know, to get off of it, to shed the weight in 2 weeks?
Right.
It's hard work.
Right. It is. I agree. So what are some of the things that you think in life, not just in network marketing, but in anything? I mean, you come from Hungary, which is that considered Eastern European, or I don't know, but
they call it the Eastern Bloc because we were the communists, but geographically, Hungary is Central Europe.
Right. So you come from you're an immigrant to Canada.
Yes.
Sorry. Anytime I get the chance, I'm going to. So, and I don't even know how many friends I have in Canada. A lot. I love Canada, and I've never even been there. But, you know, you came over, and I think that, at least in the U.S., there's a lot of people that think, you don't have to put in the work. It should just come easy and blah, 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 all of that stuff. And not everybody, obviously, but like you probably came here with an unstoppable work ethic.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, I came here with the image in my head that this is the land of opportunities.
Right.
It's not the land of handouts.
Right.
I never had that.
Right.
Like I never thought that I could, just sit at home and collect welfare.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, unfortunately, some people have to do that, but if you have to stay on it for an extended period of time, that's your own fault.
Right. I agree with that. So with the thing that I guess the question I was getting to is, what is it that you feel keeps most people stuck? If they're stuck and they stay stuck, what do you think that number one thing is that keeps people there, that keeps them stuck?
Conformity.
Conformity. What do you mean by that?
People conform to a way of life. They're comfortable with going to work, coming home, getting a paycheck. It's comfortable. They go to work. There is a certain set of hours that they have to spend there. Most, they're not even, there's no real repercussions if you're not putting in all the work effort that you could, right? And then you go home and then, you watch TV, you enjoy your time, you go partying. Yeah. But then I think there comes a point where people start looking into, the neighbors. Oh, that they have the car, they have they were able to buy the bigger house. So they start thinking, oh, maybe I should have that as well. But they're not willing to put the effort into either have a second job. So just to work a little bit more. So conformity in my mind is that we do what the masses are doing and not what the 5% is doing.
Right.
Because that's too much effort.
And risk. There's risk.
And failure, risk of failure. Yeah.
Yeah. So if somebody came to you right now and they said, I'm not making it. I can't. My electric is getting shut off tomorrow. My car was repossessed last week. I feel like a miserable failure. I'm depressed. I don't know what to do. What would you say to that person to help them get out of that mindset? Because you and I know that it's all up here. It's all up there, right? What would you say to that person to help them get over that hump, get them unstuck?
I don't think that you can say anything. I would ask a lot of questions, tell you the truth, because if I tell you something, it might not be your truth. But if you convince yourself by answering a few questions, that is what's going to get you out of the rut that you're in. So you can have this and this and this kind of problems. If you're not ready to do anything about it up here, right, then you will never, you will never make it, or it will take you a lot longer to make it. So whether there is a right way or a wrong way of getting out of a rut, everybody's circumstances are different. So you cannot just say that, oh, this is what I would say to everybody.
Right. I agree with you. Do you feel like it's mindset though most of the time?
Absolutely. I love listening to self-development. I love listening to Jim Rohn. I love listening to Earl Nightingale. And they all say, you become what you think about. Yep. So if you think about negative things, if you are in the victim mindset, that's all you're going to get, because the vibe that you give out is what you're going to get back. Yep. If you think positive thoughts, positive things are going to happen to you. Yep. And it's hard, definitely hard to change your mindset. And that's why this is one of the things that I love about network marketing is the self-development.
Yep.
Because network marketing is really self-development with a product attached to it.
Yeah, amen. And I've heard Grant Cardone say that, it's like, like everybody should join a network marketing company. Not for necessarily the value of the product or necessarily the value of the money you might make from it. Yeah. But what you get is you get to be around a lot of really positive and motivated people.
Absolutely.
You get exposed to more motivation and more what's the word I'm looking for? You just get exposed to a lot of great people that are going to help move you in life.
And great energy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So, what else do you have to share with people that might be stuck? I mean, it can't. They're like, we've got this. What have we been on here? 46 minutes. But in 46 minutes, pretty hard to summarize everything you've gone through and been through. What are some things that some challenges that you have hit that you were like, I just don't think I'm going to be able to get past this, and you were able to do it?
Yes, well, I remember this very, very clearly. There was one point in after my my divorce, I took on a huge expense or loan on top of my mortgage just to get out of my marriage ASAP and end my my marriage without an extended trial or anything like that. And I was at the point with my design career being self-employed, not having an income and having this huge mortgage. I was at the point that I was telling my girlfriend that I have reserves for 3 months. Seriously. In 3 months, if I don't make money, I will be packing up my 2 cats and moving under the bridge.
You said my 2 cats.
I would lose my condo. I would lose I was not able to make any payments.
Wow.
And in that 3 months, and this is where I'm so happy that I had that strength that was implanted in me in that communist system, that there's no way in hell that it wouldn't happen, right? There's no way in hell that I would go move under the bridge. So I did everything in my power and it was mindset. It was just the impossible is not possible for me. Wow. It never was. Now, I didn't say that it was easy, but and it's funny because I teach my girls that I can't is not a word. So if you ask them, they're going to tell you. If you tell them what is I can't, they're going to look at you like, what? That's not a word. So
I love it.
Definitely. It's there for me there was never an impossible possible.
Right. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I've talked to so many people where, they feel like they can't do something, or they say, I'm like, and I teach, and my wife and I, we teach our daughters. We have 2 daughters that, we teach them, you can do anything. There is literally, of course, there are the limitations of if you jump off of a 10-story building and think you can fly, good luck with that. Right. There are certain logical limitations.
The laws of physics you can't change.
Right, you can't. But you can improvise. You could put a parachute on. You could whatever. So I think when I love what you're talking about. I love exactly what you just said, because once you make up your mind, and we've all been there, right? You've been there where you're like, it's down to the last minute. And once you decide this is it, enough's enough, I'm not going to allow this, boom.
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I'm convinced that when you put out that mindset and you put out those positive vibes and positive energy from your brain, is the universe is just going to start making it happen.
Yep.
Because there is nothing in your way. Yes, there are hurdles, but I mean, there's no straight way to anywhere. I mean, that's luck.
Right.
But how often does that happen, right? But
not very.
When you do everything in your power to, and there's nothing that can deter you. It will happen. It will happen for sure.
Yeah.
And I have, when I go to our networking events and I listen to other people, some people had huge debt like myself. Some people had tragic situations. And the only way to overcome it is by changing the mindset.
Yes.
Nobody's going to come and help you, give you $250,000.
Right.
I mean, here, pay off your debt, right? And then, no, this is not how it works. It's all your effort, but your efforts have to be corresponding with your mindset, right?
Yes. I agree.
It's like bicycling.
Right. I agree with you. So what final words of, I can't believe we're already gonna wrap this up, but we've been on here 52 minutes already. That's insane.
That time flies.
Jeez. So what are some final words of wisdom that you would share with anyone, whether they're in network marketing or they're in their own business, or they work for somebody and they realize they're not really living their dream and they want to do something, but they have all those fears that are holding them back? What are some words of wisdom that you would share with them to help them see the big picture?
Just do it.
Thanks, Nike.
I would. Yes. I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, I know.
It sounded much better than it came from me. No, well.
What an original idea.
I have to say that the turning point in somebody when they have fear is self-development. Now, unfortunately, some people take it to the extent that they just learn and learn and learn and learn, but they never apply.
Right.
So to have that first push of, okay, now let's go out and start talking to people, or just take the first step towards what you want, it has to come from inside.
Yeah.
So if the mindset is not there, if you're not at a breaking point where this is now or never, right, then it will never happen, in my opinion. So it doesn't matter what anybody says around you. If you are not forcing yourself that this is what you have to do, nobody else can say anything. Yep. So all I can say is changing the mindset is very difficult. Listen to as much motivational speakers like Jim Rohn or Earl Nightingale, as I said, and talk to people that are positive. Yeah. Always talk to people who are positive. If you are surrounded with negative people, it's kind of hard to change your mindset because you keep listening to the negativity as opposed to listening to the positivity.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time to change a mindset. And even with it was very interesting because I was thinking about how you read all these what's the word I'm looking for? Not motivation. I have a blip now in English and Hungarian. like
inspirational things.
Manifestation. That's the word. I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So people are reading the manifestations, right? Yeah. And they think, it doesn't work. Well, if you don't believe in it, it will not work. It doesn't matter how many times you are going to read it.
That's right.
So my trick and recommendation for that is that on the phone there is a voice recorder app.
Yeah.
So if you record your own voice saying that my subconscious mind and I believe that the manifestations that I'm reading do work, then that is embedded in your subconscious because you hear your own voice saying that. So when you get to the manifestations, they are like your brain is more open to receiving them.
Yep.
Because it's backed up with your own voice telling your own brain that you do actually believe. But if you just read it, it's like reading a book.
And I wanna point out that I know that you have been incredibly successful in network marketing, right?
Ups and downs.
I know,
can't say
but
uphill,
there's been times when you've had more than 20 people in your downline, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot, right?
I left a big team
Yeah.
from my previous company because I wasn't happy with some certain circumstances, and I started from scratch.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So
It's
I mean,
really not. It's as I said, it doesn't really matter how big of a downline you have.
Right.
If your upline is not supportive, if you're
Amen.
not learning the ropes, if you're not getting the help that your team needs.
well, and I think that, again, from I like I told you, I'll just share, I'm not sharing the name, but I literally, right before we got on this live stream, I was late because I was on a Zoom meeting with a client of mine that I just became great friends with, and this person's been on the Oprah show like 3 or 4 different times, and like
Amazing.
is a huge celebrity, huge celebrity. And like I'm now I've been, my emails are popping in. I see that I've received a couple of emails from this person, and so like and let me say, I don't say that with any sort of arrogance in any way. Sharon Lecter, the is a friend of mine. She commented on my post yesterday, and I sat there for a moment, and I was like, I just had the co-author of Rich Dad Poor Dad comment on my post on Facebook. Like, how's that real? Like, who? I'm
awesome.
nobody special. I'm just somebody that didn't give up. I'm just somebody
exactly.
that no matter what, I've had the times when I've had to eat like ramen noodles, and that was a special moment when I got to put butter in the ramen noodles. Or, oh my gosh, I have some Parmesan cheese to put on there. So I've been in that place where it's like, oh my God, it's all falling apart. It's never coming together. And I think that people need to understand. I don't pray for patience, because God always gives you opportunity to practice patience if you pray for it. So, it takes that tenacity, right? Like that just unwavering ability to not stop.
Exactly. You have to keep going. Because if you fall underneath yourself and you become you become the victim of your circumstances.
Yeah.
That's not something that I would recommend to anybody.
No.
And you say, oh, but you don't know my circumstances. I'm a firm believer that you create your own circumstances. Now, it might sound very arrogant, but I firmly believe that you create your own circumstances.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree. Now, I think that things happen that are beyond our control, but we do get to control how we respond to those things.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I think that and there's an old Buddhist saying that goes something like, pain in life is inevitable, suffering is a choice.
Exactly. That's amazing. I
Right?
love that.
Right.
I love that. Exactly.
Yeah. Pain.
You can wallow in your own sorrow
Right.
as much as you want. And I think, who was this? Maybe I heard it from Ray Higdon, and actually he said that some people are just very happy to be miserable.
That's exactly.
And there's nothing that anybody can do about that.
Nope.
So it doesn't matter how much you tell them or how much positivity you're pouring on them. They're going to run away from you because they are happy to be miserable.
They're happy.
And
Some
that's it.
people live for
But
that.
those are not the people that you want around yourself anyway.
That's right. Absolutely not. And there are people who literally, they don't realize it. They do not realize it, but they are so ingrained and programmed to respond to everything in life with negativity, and they want to bring you down to their level.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They are preparing for the what ifs. They're preparing for the what ifs, and they don't live the life in a way where it is actually enriching.
Right.
Enriching. How do you pronounce that? Did I say that right?
You did. Enriching. Yes.
So they live in this fear of, oh my God, what happens if? And
right.
Oh my God, what happens? So it's a very debilitating feeling.
Yep.
And it's just very hard to live with that. So they are putting a lot of strain on themselves, and that's where the self-limiting beliefs come from, right? But it's only themselves who can change that, and that I think comes through a lot of self-development.
I totally agree. You gotta continuously sharpen the axe. You have to continuously sharpen the axe and improve yourself. So I love it. I love everything that you're doing, everything that you stand for. You are amazing. Giselle told me, oh, wait, she's amazing. You'll see. And
so are you. And I love the interviews that you're putting out. You're putting a lot of value in front of people, getting the message from others out there, because everybody needs to hear these. And it was hard for me to realize that everybody has a message, and everybody needs to hear everybody's message, because you don't know what one sentence is what's going to change your life.
That's why I keep doing these. That's why. I mean,
Absolutely.
I do these interviews because...
And I applaud you for it. I applaud you for it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But, I hopefully what you've had to say has positively impacted... Hey, you know what? It's positively impacted me, so the heck with everybody else. But no, I mean, look, hopefully you've been able to help some people, and the replay viewers are going to watch this, and it's there. So listen, how does everybody follow you? Where can they follow you?
They can find me on Facebook, Andrea Lavigne. Basically, that's it.
Okay. You're not on Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram is I'm Andrea Lavigne.
Okay.
IAM, Andrea Lavigne.
Okay.
That's Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn as well. I don't use LinkedIn as much, although I have a good group of people there as well.
Good.
And I have 2 Facebook fan pages. One of them is for my business. It's called Essence for Youth.
Okay.
And the other one is just simply my name, Andrea Lavigne.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, Andrea, you are amazing. You're a rock star. I genuinely appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's amazing. It's a very humbling experience, and all the jitters are gone now.
Well, good. So we can just talk all day now, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's funny. You're awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Sorry for the little hiccups and being a little late, but thank you to everybody who's been on here, and thank you for sharing your time and your wisdom with us all.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. We'll see you guys. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.